I dare you to install English in your brain like an operating system on your PC. I have been learning English since 2003 and have been teaching English since 2018. Here are 10 tips that helped me over the years. Starting now, you can also speak English like a native speaker. Are you ready? Stand by. Tip number 4, understanding English beyond translation. When we first started learning English, our first language served as a crucial foundation. However, as we continue to learn, we are often trapped by our native language translation. Smoke-free zone is translated to a zone where smoking is free, and break a leg is translated into literally break your leg. These are classic examples where literal translations can go wrong. To fully comprehend messages in a practical way, we need to be able to describe and explain English in English. Let's dive into today's hot tips. Tip number 1. Use the context to infer new words. Figuring out new words without using a dictionary is a truly important skill, especially if you don't want to be trapped by translations. Plus, it helps you learn English in English. Super convenient. There are a few key points when you're trying to infer new words in the context. Look for clues around that word. Nearby words, phrases, and even sentences can provide hints about the meaning of unfamiliar words. Identify the vibe of the context. Adjectives and adverbs or other descriptive language can often indicate whether the target word is positive, negative, or neutral. Notice logic relationships. Words that signal relationships such as because, due to, therefore, however, can give further context in how the target word fits in the situation. Focus on the pattern. Similar ideas, synonyms, and even antonyms or recurring themes can sometimes offer more clues about the target word. Accept a fuzzy definition. It is okay to deduce an approximate meaning of the word, rather than an exact one. Understanding the general concepts will allow you to continue reading without losing comprehension. By applying these strategies, you can better infer the meaning of unfamiliar words and become more confident in understanding the texts without relying on a dictionary. Let's check out this short passage. After analyzing market trends and customer feedback, the company decided to shift the efforts towards creating comprehensive health management software. The startup's pivot left investors both intrigued and cautious about its future. This new direction potentially opens up new revenue streams. However, the sudden change also leaves the mid-level managers uncertain about their positions. Can you infer what pivot means? In the first sentence, the word decide implies that the company is making some kind of a decision. Then in the third sentence, new direction and new revenue both suggest something new, possibly as a result of the decision made by the company. In the last sentence, however, sudden change and the word uncertain all imply negative reactions from the managers. From these new things, new decisions, and the reactions from the managers, we can deduce that the second sentence is about some kind of a change. Therefore, the word pivot can be inferred as something like change. Tip number 2, use English descriptions to infer new words. Figuring out new words in the context is a great skill, but it does take some basic knowledge of English and a little bit of brain power. If that doesn't work, use an English dictionary. Understanding a word through its English description is a proven method to start thinking in English like a native speaker. The key to this method is to read the description in a more figurative way. Let's see how the Cambridge Dictionary describes the word pivot. One of its definition is a fixed point supporting something that turns or balances. It sounds like a center point where a lever balances and rotates, and that rotation is basically changing directions. So when someone says, we need to pivot the company's strategy, it's like changing the company's direction, just like how a lever moves around its pivot. Pay attention, however, that we want to use the descriptions in English more figuratively rather than literally. Instead of trying to find a perfect translation, try understanding the word's metaphor. For example, grasp. It's defined as to quickly take something into your hands. See how this ties in with grasping an idea. You're mentally grabbing hold of it. Here's the thing. Over time, industries, trends, and circumstances evolve, and so do the way we use words. Their core meaning will stay the same, but they tend to grow all these weird metaphorical branches. That's why some of the English words are so difficult to translate directly into another language, and also why it is so important to infer their figurative meanings. Those are the hot tips for today. If you want to sound more natural when speaking English or any language, ditch the word-for-word translation mindset. Our mother tongue does give us a sense of safety. But as any seaworthy ships, there will come a time when we need to leave the safe harbor behind and venture beyond. Focus on the word's context and descriptions. They're like little bridges that help you understand the broader meaning of a word, even when there is no perfect one-to-one translation. Language is about connection, not perfection. So let's embrace the metaphors, the nuances, and yes, even the chaos of evolving words. Happy learning, folks! Did you get it? Let me know in the comments. Peace.